square has a perimeter of 60 centimeter. What is the side length and the area of the square? So again, every time you see a question involving a lot of information like this, make sure that you know what information, what is the given information and what is being asked, and then find the connection between those two. Okay, so the information I get with from the question is that the shape is a square, and then the perimeter is 60 centimeter. And the first question is, what is the side length? Okay, as we know that the a square has a formula for the perimeter is equals to 4 times s, which the s is the side length, right? And then what you only need to do is to substitute all the values that you have from the question, which is for this one is the perimeter 60 centimeters, so you write 60 below the p, which is the perimeter. And then because you don't know the side length yet, so just write down 4s over here, right? And then use algebra, divide both sides by 4, you get 60 divided by 4. On the right side we have 4 divided by 4 is just 1, so that will be equals to s. 60 divided by 4 equals to 15. So that will be the side length. Okay, we're done with this one. Okay, so the next one is the area of the square. So we know that the area of a square has a formula of s square, so just square the 15, so that will be 15 square, and that will be equals to 225 centimeter square. Okay, for number 12, calculate the perimeter and the area of this compound shape. Okay, so when we're talking about perimeter, just make sure that you are just adding all of the side length, all of the one on the outside, right? So you don't, for example, if you have like a line over here, right? You don't calculate this as a perimeter, because it's not the outer side of the what do you call it, the shape, right? So just make sure that you just like, for example, if you are starting from here, you're gonna like this side plus this side plus this side plus this side plus this side, and then go back here plus that side. Okay, so that is the concept of how you calculate the perimeter. Okay, so but for this case, we don't know this side yet and this side over here, so we can just like do something like this. Okay, so when you want to find this one over here, so because this is a vertical line, so the easiest way to do this is like, oh, seeing another line that has information for the length, which is also vertical lines. So this one is vertical line and this is also vertical line, right? So this one is 9 and this one is 2, so meaning that this one here over here, right, is some number in which we added with 2 equals to 9, right? So this will be 7, right? That's the easiest way to do it, right? So yeah, we have this one is equals to 7. So another way in how to do it is that if you see this line over here, if we move this here, right, and that will be the same distance from here to here, which is to 9, which is this one, right? So this is 2 and this is going to be 7, because 7 plus 2 equals to 9. Okay, so that's why this is 7. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is the horizontal line. The same thing actually. Sorry, this is 7. Sorry, 7 centimeter. And I'm gonna write down. And then for this line over here, right? So this is a horizontal line. So you might want to do the same thing like before, but you are doing with the horizontal line. We have a horizontal line over here and over here. And as we know that if we move this line over here, this is going to be 6. And if we know that the distance from here to here is equals to 10, right? So this is going to be 4, because 6 plus 4 equals to 10, right? So it's as easy as that, guys. Okay, so which means that we can calculate the perimeter for this one. So the perimeter is just adding all of the numbers, right? So p equals to, I'm going to start from here. So it's going to be 9 plus 10 plus 2 plus 6, and then plus 7, and then plus 4. Then it will be equals to 38, I think so, 38. 19, 21, 21, 27, 34. Yeah, yes, it is 38 centimeter. Okay. Okay, the next one is the area. Area is a little bit different. I mean, like when we want to find the area of this shape, this kind of shape. So if you can like split it into a couple of other shapes, basic shapes like rectangle, triangles, or circles, or half circle, or square, or anything else. So you can do that. Okay, so I'm gonna split this into like this. Okay, so I'm gonna split this into two shapes, two basic shapes, which are the first shape is a rectangle, the second shape is also a rectangle. So I'm gonna calculate the area of this one, and then add them together. Okay, so the total area, right, area total, right, there will be area number 1 plus area number 2. And we know that area, the first shape is a rectangle in which it has, this one is 4 for reason, right, 4 centimeters is 7. So which has this one over here, right, which is has a length and width of 9 and 4. So just multiply those two numbers. Okay, so that will be 9 times 4. That's for the first shape. And then the second shape is this one over here, and the length and the width is 6 and 2. So which means that will be 6, just 6 times 2. Okay, so this will be equals to 36, and this is going to be 12, and that will be equals to 48 centimeter square. As easy as that. Okay, number 13. The length of the legs of the of a right angle triangle are 6 centimeter and 8 centimeter. By using the Pythagorean formula, what is the length of the hypotenuse? Okay, so we can just write down here. Maybe this is 6 centimeter and this is 8 centimeter, and then the question is, what is the length of the hypotenuse? Okay, so for this one, because it said that using the Pythagorean formula, you can write down c squared equals to a squared plus b squared, which is the Pythagoras formula. And then what we need to do first on the triangle is to determine which one is the C, which one is the A, and which one is the B. So just remember that the C in this formula, this C is going to be the hypotenuse, or the side in front of the 90-degree angle. Okay, so this is 90 degrees, so in front of that is the hypotenuse, so this is going to be the C, okay, the value of C. Yeah, so and then the two other side, which are the legs, you can swap them around with A and B. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you just use this formula. Yeah, so I'm gonna use this as A and this is as B. Okay, so next thing we do is to substitute any value that we have from the figure here, from the image, and then we find the value of C. Okay, so let's continue. We have C squared. We don't know the C one, which is, we are going to find that. So the A is equals to 6, so there will be 6 squared, and then the B is going to be 8, so that will be 8 squared over here. So C squared equals to, this is 36 and this is 64, so C squared equals to 36 plus 64 is 100, so C is equals to square root of 100. Okay, so we get rid of this square by using square root, so the square root of 100 is equals to 10. So that will be, because in centimeter, so this is going to be centimeter. Okay, number 14. A rectangle has side of AC of 5 meter and CD is 12. What is the length of the diagonal? Okay, so again, guys, you just write down the information in here, which is 5 centimeter. I'm going to just write down here, and then the CD is 12. This is 12 centimeter, and the question is, what's the length of the diagonal? So diagonal is this guy over here, right? So as we can see that this is actually a right angle triangle, right? Because we know that a rectangle has a side length of a side length, what do you call has a, what do you call it, the angle, right? The angles in here is going to be 90 degree. This is 90, this is 90, this is 90, right? So which means that this is going to be a right angle triangle. And here, if we're focusing on this triangle over here, right, this one over here, that, okay, that one. Okay, so that will be 5 and 12, so I'm gonna put that triangle over here. So this is going to be 90-degree angle, this is going to be 5 centimeter, and this is going to be 12. And then the diagonal is actually the hypotenuse. Okay, remember what I said before, that the side in front of the 90 degree is the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse in the Pythagorean formula will always be the C. Okay, so just rewrite the formula. C squared equals to A squared plus B squared, and then again, you can choose which one is A and B, doesn't matter for this one. I'm gonna use this as the A and this is gonna be the B. Okay, so that will be the C, the hypotenuse, in which we don't know yet, which is the AD, right? So just write down C, it's no problem with that. So C squared equals to 5 squared plus 12 squared, and then C squared equals to 25 plus 144, and then C squared equals to 169, and C equals to square root of 169, and that will be equals to 13 centimeters. So this is going to be the value of, I mean, like the distance of the diagonal of AD. Okay, number 15, from the image below, what is the value of cosine A, sine A, and tangent A? So, actually, we have learned about this a little bit. So, we have a what we call a sohjahtoa. Okay, so this represent with the S with the sine, C with the cosine, and T is for tangent. Okay, so what is OH and A? So that is going to be the side of the right angle triangle. So remember that we can only use this for now, yeah, for now, for right angle triangle. So in here we have all of the side, and then we have this angle over here, right? So whenever we want to find, we want to determine the value of sine, cosine, and tangent, the first thing that we need to do is to name all of the sides with opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. Okay, so stands for opposite, and then H stands for hypotenuse, and then O is an O is an A represent adjacent. Okay, so first thing first. Okay, remember like previously we know that the name of the side in front of the 90 degree is the hypotenuse, right? This is the 90 degree, so this is going to be the hypotenuse. And then the next one is the side in front of the angle that we're going to use, because we are using angle A, and angle A is over here, so which means that in front of this angle, that will be the opposite. Okay, so just remember, guys, whenever you want to name the opposite and the adjacent, make sure that you know what angle do you use, because if you're using, for example, over here, this won't be the opposite, this will be the adjacent, the opposite will be over here, right? But for this one, because we're using the angle over there, which is the A over here, right? So the opposite is going to be over here. Okay, and then which means that the last one will be just the adjacent. So okay, just using again, guys, using this sohjahtoa, let's start from cosine A. So question A will be the cosine A. So cosine A will be using this one, right? C is for cos, A is for adjacent, H is for hypotenuse. So which means that that will be equals to just adjacent over hypotenuse, right? C A H. Okay, and that will be equals to just find the value of the adjacent, and here we have 4, and then the hypotenuse is 5, right? So that's just 4 over 5. So just make sure that if you are using fraction, write down the simplest form of the fraction. Okay, or you can write down for this one using a decimal, it will be equals to 0.8. This is actually the same thing. If you just answer this one, that's okay, or if you answer this one, it's also okay. Okay, the next one is question B. Is going to be the sine A. So that's the sine of angle A. That will be equals to, we're using this one this time, is soh, right? O is for opposite, H is for hypotenuse. So which means that that will be equals to opposite over hypotenuse. And we know that the opposite is this one, which is the 3. And the hypotenuse is this one, which is the 5. And that will be just 3 over 5, or equals to 0.6. Okay, last one, number 15. That will be the tangent of A. So we're going to use this one, right? Toa. Right? O is for opposite, and A is for adjacent. So that will be equals to opposite over adjacent. And we know that the opposite is 3, this one, right? That will be just 3. And then we know that the adjacent is 4. That will be just 3 over 4, or 0.75. And next question. The topic is about sets. From these statement, determine whether it is a well-defined set or not. So this is way on how to make a difference between a set or not set. Is that a set is what do you call it? It's a fact in which anybody cannot deny. For example, 1 plus 1 equals to 2. Whenever you go in this part of this world, 1 plus 1 is always equals to 2, right? So when it's not a set, it means that it can be an opinion. I mean, it can be ambiguous, or what do you call a vague statement, right? For example, like what do you call for example, like beautiful, or what do you call it, like delicious, and so on, right? So those are the keywords that you need to find every time you want to determine whether statement it is a set or not. Okay, a well-defined set. Okay, And then let's go for number one. The collection of integers is less than 5. I know that no one will argue that integers less than 5 start from like 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1, and then 0, and so on, so on, so on, right? So, which means that everyone will say this. The fact is that, so which means that this is a set. Yes, it is a set. The second one is the collection of prime number less than 2. Okay, there will be no members, but I mean, like, there's no element that is prime number less than 2, but it is a set because everyone will say it is like that. Okay, the next one, the collection of delicious food in restaurant. Okay, so this word here, delicious, right, is what do you call it? Will be different from one people to another. Maybe I'm not. I don't like seafood, but you like seafood. I will say seafood is not delicious, but you say it's delicious, right? So this is not a set. Okay. Next one, grade 8 students, the collection of grade 8 students whose weight height is below 150. So height is also the same thing. I'm like, you cannot argue because we have this measurement that is used all over the world, right? So, which means that this is going to be the set. This is going to be a set, right? Next one, the collection of beautiful ornaments in a store. Again, this a word over here, beautiful, is also, I mean, like, it can be different from one person to another, in which this is an opinion, right? Beautiful from one person cannot, I mean, like, maybe other person says, no, it's not, it's just so, it's not beautiful, and so on, right? So which means that this is not a set. Next question, number 17. Given a set A equals to x such that x is the element of integers and x is greater than minus 3 and is less than greater than equals to minus 3 and less than 5. Represent set A in raster form. Okay, so raster form is a form of set in which you write down all of the elements in curly bracket. Okay, so this is integer. So for this one is the set A will be represented by the elements. So what are the elements? If it is an integers and it is less, I mean, like, it's greater than equals to minus 3 and less than 5. Okay, so the first thing that you need to see here is that this sign over here, right, it has something below over here. So if this is the sign, then this guy minus 3 will be included into the set. So that will be minus 3. Okay, so that will be minus 3, and then we know that this is 5, so you just write down integers comes from minus 3 to the right side. So there will be minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But 5 does not include because the sign over here, if you see the sign over here, right, that's different with this one, right? It's different. Because if I have this sign over here, if I say like this, so this will be included into the set. But if I write down like this doesn't it's not included into the set, right? So because there's no this line, right? So it's just that. Okay, so we're done with this one, number 17. Okay, number 18, given set P equals to minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and set Q are minus 2, 0, 2, 4, 6. Determine question A is P union Q, and question B is P intersection Q. Okay, so you can see that this symbol over here, right? This is union. Union means that you only need to combine all of the elements from those the sets, right? So we're going to combine the set P and set Q, all of the elements of set P and set Q. Just remember that every time you see an element that are the same, you don't have to write it down more than once. So you only need to write it down once. Okay, so in here where so question A will be P union Q, that will be just writing down all of these, right, all of them, right, in just one set. So there will be minus 1. Sorry, now I'm gonna start with minus 2 actually, because minus 2 is the smallest number, just minus 2, right? And then the next one is minus 1, this one, and then 0. I have 0 over here, and I have also 0 over here, right? But we don't need to write them twice. Okay, just once. Okay, and then 1, which is this one, and then 2, which is this one, and this one. Again, we don't need to write them down twice. And then 3, this one here, and then these two are the two elements that's left. Okay, there we go. So it's just writing down this. Okay, the next one is the B. The question B is P intersection Q. So this symbol here is read intersection. It means that you only need to take the elements that are the same, or we call it the common element from set P and set Q, right? So let's see the set P and set Q again. The elements that are the same are this 0 and this 2, right? So from P and Q. So which means that the P intersection Q is just those two elements, so 0 and 2. That's it. Okay, so for number 19, given set A is 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, and set B is 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. From the Venn diagram below, which represents set A and set B, what should be the elements in the area shaded purple? Okay, so you need to understand first what does that mean. I mean, like how to draw a Venn diagram. So if I draw the Venn diagram, this one, the complete Venn diagram of that. So we need to make sure, the first thing that we need to make sure is that whether these two sets in this question are disjoint or intersecting, right? So is it disjoint or intersecting? Okay, so disjoint means that we don't have any common element. Intersecting means that we have at least one common element. Okay, so as we can see here, that we actually have a common element, which is this one, right? And then also this one over here, right? So which means that it is going to be intersecting, right? So we have those two elements that are going to be the same from set A and set B. So if we have a Venn diagram in which it is intersecting, so the Venn diagram will be intersecting like this, right? So let's say this is like, so I'm gonna use other color maybe, yeah. Use a blue. Where's the blue? Here we go. Right. So that will be intersecting. So for example, if this is set A and this is set B, right? And don't forget to use the U over here. Don't forget. And then because those two elements, the 7 and 11, is the one that are the elements that are the same from set A and B. So which means that those two values those two elements will be over here in the middle, right? Because it is the same. I mean, like, yeah, the same. So 7 and the 11. I'm gonna write down using dot. Yeah. Okay. So 7 and 11. Okay, and then we can see here that we can actually answer question A, right? So that will be in the middle here, right? So that will be this 7 and 11. So that's the answer for question A. Okay, question B. So let's see here. The one that we're shaded is over here, right? So that is actually this whole circle is actually you can fill it with all of the elements from set A, which are 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11. But in here, we know that we have an intersection, right? Intersection in over here, which is the 7, which are the 7 and 11. So which means that the elements over here is the element of A, or the element of A, in which it's besides the 7 and 11, because we already write down the 7 and 11, right? So because we have write them down, because we have write the 7 and 11, right? So we only need to write down the rest of the element that we haven't write them yet, right? From A, set A, which are the 6, 8, and 9. So this is going to be 6, and then 8, and then 9. Okay, so if you want to write down the elements over here, actually, we can also do that, which are, it's going to be the elements from set B, but besides the 7 and 11, because again, we have already write down the 7 and 11, so the elements that we haven't write for set B are 2, 3, and 5. So this is going to be 2, and then 3, and then 5. Okay, so we could just answer question A, question of course 7 and 11, right? And then set B, set B, question B is going to be 6, 8, and 9, because it's over here and it's over here. Okay. Okay, for number 20, if NA, and remember that if we have N means that this is the cardinal number. Okay, so NA means the cardinal number of set A, right? So that will equals to 27. And then next one is the cardinal number of set B is 34, and the cardinal number of A union B is 41. Calculate the NA, the cardinal number of A intersection B. So actually we have one formula that I gave you. So that is NA union B equals to NA plus NB minus an A intersection B. Okay, so we're going to use only this one formula to for the topic of set. Okay, so we have actually all of the number here, right? And then you only need to substitute that into the calculation, right? So maybe the first thing that I would like to do is I'm gonna name this with, let's say it's P, okay, because I don't want to write down NA intersection B all over again over here. I mean, like, to make it simple. Okay, so just let us substitute all the values that we know from the question. The first one is NA intersection B, which is 41. So this is NA union B. That will be 41. So put this number over here, 41, exactly below that. Okay, and the next one is NA, which is this one, 27. So we put 27 over here, and then actually the next one is NB, which is 34. This is also NB, so that will be 34 over here. And then minus NA intersection B, in which I have changed or substitute that with the value of P. I mean, like, just use other variables to know that. Just write down P over here, right? Okay, so that will be 41 equals to 27 plus 34 is 61. 61 minus b, right? So remember, using algebra, so I'm going to subtract, add both sides by p. So that will be 41 plus p equals to 61. And or the other way on how to do it, just like move this minus 3 here, because this is a negative, not negative, actually a subtraction, means that if you move that to the other side of the equal sign, it will be an addition. Okay, so the last one is like removing this one by subtracting both sides by 41, or we can also say moving this 41 to the other side of the equal sign, because this is an addition, so we're going to subtract that, right? So that will be, if I continue that here, so that will be P equals to 61 minus 41. So P equals to 20. So I can say NA intersection B is equals to 20. Okay, number 21, we have this figure here, and the question is find the value of angle X. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. Okay, so the first thing that we need to see here, that we have a couple of theory. The first one is that we have a triangle, actually, right? So we have this triangle over here, right? Okay, so just remember that triangle, if you add all of the angles in a triangle, you will always have 180 degree. Okay, so if I have that triangle, right, so I will have this angle over here, right? It's going to, if I add this one, and this one, that will be equals to 180 degree, right? So just let's name that with a variable. For example, I'm gonna name that with angle A. Okay, so if I write down the equation, that will be A, right, this guy, plus 64 from here, plus 45 from here, because we have those three angles in which it shaped it, it construct a triangle. So that will be equals to 180 degree. Okay, so that will be A plus this is going to be 109 equals to 180. So A equals to 180 minus 109. So that will be equals to 71. Right? So angle A is equals to 71 degree. So we're not done yet, because the one that's really looking for is this one, the X, right? So if I change this into this A into 71 degree, I'm gonna erase that. I'm gonna write down 71. So we have another theory, is that if you see a straight line, and then that straight line is split by another line, for example, and then it makes some angles, right? For example, this one is two angles, the X and that 71. Those angles, if we add them up, it's going to be also 180 degree, because we know that a straight line has a an angle of an angle of straight angle is 180 degree, because this, we assume that this is a straight line, right? So if I add it with this one, that will also be equals to 180 degrees. So if I name x in here, I have another equation, so that will be x plus 71. So x plus 71, that will be equals to 180 degree, right? So it means that x equals to 180 minus 71, right? So that will be equals to 109 degree. That will be the answer. Okay, number 22. From the image below, determine the value of x, y, and z. Okay, so we can actually investigate what we have in here. Okay, so the first one here, we have lined. That is, I mean, like all of them are straight line, right? So there will be 180 degrees. So the first one I'm gonna focus is over here, right? So this is a straight line, right, which is 180 degree, and then which means that if I add these two values, that will be equals to 180 degree, right? Okay, so that's the first thing, right? So I can write down an equation for that. That will be x plus 150 equals to 180. So x will be equals to 180 minus 150. Remember algebra? That will be equals to 30 degree, right? So I can answer question 1. I mean, like the value of x, because that is a straight line. So I'm gonna write down 30 over here. Okay, the next one is I'm gonna focus on this line over here, right? This is also a straight line, right? And which means that if I add these two angles, right, 100 and y, that will also be 180 degree. So I can write down another equation. This is first equation. Second equation, there will be y plus 100 equals to 180 degrees. So y plus 100 equals to 180. So y equals to 180 minus 100. So y equals to 80 degree. Okay, so I can just like make this into 80 over here. I'm gonna write down 80 here. Right, and the last one is this one. Okay, so as you can see that we have actually formed a triangle, right? So this is a triangle. And from our previous topic, I mean the previous theory that we have, right? If you add all of the angles in a triangle, you will have another 180 degree. So if I write down another equation involving the z, so that will be 30 plus 80 plus z equals to 180, right? So I can just write down, or the z first is actually the same thing. Let me write down over here, guys. I'm running out of space here. So it's going to be z plus 80 plus 30 equals 180, right? So z plus 80 plus 30 equals to 180 degree. So the z plus 110 equals to 180. So z equals to 180 minus 110. So z equals to 70 degree. Okay, let's go to number 23. A rectangular land has a ratio of length of and width of 2 by 5 respectively, and its area is 14 meters squared. What is if the cost to build fences is 60,000 rupiah per meter? Question A, what is the length and the width? Well, question B is what the perimeter and land, and then how much is the cost to build fences around land? Okay, so again, like I said before, guys, whenever you see a couple of especially if it is a what do you call it, a word problem, right? So you need to analyze every sentence, right? So the first, and then if you can draw it, I mean, like if it's like geometry, just draw it. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the first sentence. A rectangular land. So it's the shape is going to be a rectangle. So I'm just gonna go and draw a rectangle. That's the first thing that I'm gonna do. Okay, so it's okay. Let's think. I'm gonna use this one. Shape. Okay, so that's the first thing that I'm going to use. I'm like gonna draw, which is a rectangle. Wait. Okay, and then the ratio of the length of the width is 2 by 5, right? 2 by 5. So it can be anything, right? It can be 2 and 5. It can be 4 and 10, and so on, so on, so on, right? So it's just you are going to multiply that with the number. For example, if this is 2, this is going to be 5. If I multiply this with 2, right, that will be 4. I also need to multiply this by 2, which is going to be 10, right? So whenever I multiply this with a number, I need to multiply this with the same exact number. So let's say that number is x. So which means that if I write this down in the image, it's not going to be 2 and 5. It's going to be 2 times the number, and this is also going to be 5 times the number. So that number, I'm gonna name that with x. Okay, so this is going to be 2 times x, and this is going to be 5 times x. Okay, so this is the second thing that I'm going to do. So we have done in analyzing this one. Okay, and then it said that its area is 40 meters square. Okay, so again, let's investigate. And write down the formula for the area of a rectangle, because this is a rectangle. So an area of a rectangle is equals to length times width, and we know that this is the length and this is the width, right? So just multiply those two and you will get 40, because this is actually, and like the area is 40, and then we have area over here. Remember guys to write down directly below the variable, right? So because area represented by the letter A, so put 40 over here. Okay, and then the length is 5x. So again, do 5, write down 5x over here. Use bracket maybe, and then the last one is the width is going to be the 2x. That will be I'm going to write down over here. Okay, so the next one is multiply these two terms, right? So 5x times 2x is going to be 5 times 2 is 10, and then x times x is going to be x squared. So there will be 10x squared. Okay, and then let's divide both sides by 10. Right, divide both sides by 10, you will get 40 divided by 10, and then 10 divided by 10 is just 1, there will be x squared. So 4 equals to x squared, and then square root both sides, they will get square root of 4 is equals to x, and x equals to 2. Okay, so which means that if we go back here, we know that the length is this 5x. And we know that the width is this 2x, right? So if I write down, if I want to know the length and the width, so I can write down over here, the length will be the 5x, and since we know the value of x over here, which is 2, just multiply that 5 by 2. So 5 times 2 equals to 10. And in here, because we have the unit as a meter, so this is in meter. The same thing with the width, right? The width is this 2x, right? So that will be just 2x, and then because we already know the value of x, which is 2, right? So we multiply this 2 by the x, which is 2 times 2 is equals to 4 meters, right? So if I put that here, it's gonna match, because if this is 10, this is 4, then the area is just 10 times 4, which is equals to 40, right? Okay, so that's the first thing. That's the first question for section number 23. Okay, the next one, question B, is actually is like if you understand, if you have found the length and the width, actually for the other one is going to be easy. Okay, so question B is what is the perimeter of the line? Okay, so perimeter is just like adding all of the side length, right? Or you can use the formula, right? So I'm gonna write by B over here. So B is the perimeter. I'm going to use the formula, actually 2 times L plus W. So that will be 2 times 10 plus 4, and that will be equals to 28 meter. That's it. Okay, so that's for question B. Okay, next one is question E. How much is the cost to build fences around the land? Because we know that when we want to what do you call it, put a fence around the land, means that you're gonna put the fence over here, 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 and here, right? Because you're going to make the fence in to close that land, right? So which means that that is going to be related to the perimeter, and since we know that the perimeter is 28, and the cost to build the fence is 60,000 rupiah per meter, so which means that is you only need to multiply the perimeter and the cost, right? So question section C will be the cost. The total cost will be equals to 28 times 60,000 rupiah, and that will be equals to 1,680,000 rupiah. So that will be RP 16680,000. Number 24. We have writing a triangle here. Actually, I forgot to put this symbol here. So from the triangle above, by using the Pythagorean formula, determine the length of segment AB. Okay, so this is the first thing that we need to find. Okay, so again, we have that Pythagoras formula, right? So let's do that. Let's use that. So question A will be, I'm gonna write down c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. And then remember, guys, whenever you want to find, whenever you want to use this formula to determine which one is the c and a and b. Okay. So again, the side in front of the 90-degree angle, it's going to be the hypotenuse or the c. So I'm gonna put c over here. So these two are the a and the b's, right? Because you don't have to I mean, like, you can swap them around between a and b. It doesn't really matter if you're only using the Pythagoras formula. Okay, so I'm gonna use this as a and this is as b. Okay, so we're looking for the value of c. So the c square equals to 12 square plus 16 square. So that will be equals to 144 and 256. Okay, so the c squared equals to, add them up, you'll get equals to 400. So which means that the c is equals to going to be the square root of 400, and that will be just equals to 20. Okay, that'll be in 20 meter. Okay, so that is the line segment AB. We're done with that. Okay, the next one is the value of sine, cosine, and tangent. Actually, we have done that before, right? So this is what the angle that we're using is the alpha, right? And then the alpha is over here. So remember that the first thing that we do is to name that with hypotenuse, adjacent, and also opposite, right? So I'm gonna erase this. Okay, so instead of write down as c, so I'm gonna write this down as hypotenuse again because it's in front of the 90-degree, and because the angle is over here, so which means that in front of that angle, this guy is going to be the opposite, and which means that this is going to be the adjacent. Okay, so just remember the Sohchahatwa, right? And I have already gave you. So the sine will be the opposite and divided by the hypotenuse. So the sine alpha will be the opposite is this guy, and the hypotenuse is this guy, in which we have already found the length, which is 20, right? So I'm gonna 20 meter over here. So that's just equals to 12 over 20, and we can simplify that by dividing both by 4, and that would be just 3 over 5, or you can write this down as a decimal, will be 0.6. Okay, the next one is going to be the cosine alpha, which means that we're going to use the cha. Cha means adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent is over here, and hypotenuse over here, so that will be just 16 divided by 20. So this 16 over 20, or divide both by 4, divide the numerator and the denominator by 4, so you'll get 4 over 5, or change this into decimal, you get 0.8. Okay, the last one is tangent. So we use toa. So toa means that there will be just opposite over adjacent, and then we have the opposite over here and the adjacent over here. So that will be just 12 over 16, and simplify that will be 3 over 4, or that will be equals to 0.75. Okay, number 25. There are 200 people in the village. All adult male work as a fisherman, farmer, or both, while women and children stays at home doing daily chores. Below is the data on how many fishermen and farmers. Okay, 85 villagers works as a fisherman, 75 villagers works as a farmer, 50 villagers work as both fisherman and farmer. Okay, the first question is, how many adult male are there? Okay, so in order to answer this kind of question, you need to draw the Venn diagram to make it very clear which one is which. Okay, so again, let's draw a what do you call it, a rectangle, because we're going to put all of the numbers inside. Okay, and then use let's draw two triangle here, two circles, because we have two subjects here, two sets, right? So the fisherman and also the farmer, and or both means that it is going to be the intersection. The both means that this person here works as fisherman and farmer, right? So it's going to be the intersection of the set. Okay, so let's draw two circles in here, in which one is representing the fisherman and the other one is going to be the farmer. So I'm gonna draw over here the first one, and then the other one I'm gonna use blue. Is that? Oh, sorry. Go there first. Okay, so the shape is gonna be also a yeah, something like that. Okay, so the thing that we're going to put in the Venn diagram, right, is not the elements, but the cardinal number. Okay, so the cardinal number that is the one that we're going to put over here. Okay, so remember what I said in the classroom, guys, that whenever you see a Venn diagram that is intersecting, the first thing that you need to put is the intersection if they are intersected, right? So in the intersection means that for this case is the people who works both as a fisherman and farmer, and actually we have the information over here, right? So which means that because they work as a fisherman and farmer, so let's say this is fisherman is A and farmer is B, for example. This is set A, this is set B. So which means that this 50 belongs to A and B, right? So which means that we can put that 50 actually over here, right? So it'll be 50 people over there. Okay. So the next one is we have these two more information from the list here. We have 85 villager work as a fisherman. So because fisherman works as set A, right? So this 85 will be included to all of the circle in here. But we know that we have 85, but the 50 from 85 of them who works as a fisherman, 50 of them works also as a farmer, right? So which means that when we want to find the number over here, right? So we only need to subtract the 85 by 50, so that will be equals to 35, right? So just making sure, guys, that everything inside this circle here is going to be the fisherman, because we know that the fisherman is 85. So make sure that if you add these two, you will get to 85, right? So for this one, yes, 35 plus 50 is equals to 85. Okay. Okay, the next one is let's go to the next information that we have, which is this one: 75 villager work as a farmer. Okay, so farmers represent the set B, right? So that 75 should be over here, right? But the same case with the fishermen, that from the 75 the villagers, 50 of them works also as a fisherman, right? So again, 75 people who work as a farmer also, I mean, like, also there are also people who also work as a fisherman, which is the 50, right? So which means that this number over here will be 25, because if we see this circle here, right, that will be the farmer, right? The farmer should be 75. So if you add these two numbers, that will be 75. So that's it, okay? So what does that mean? I mean, in terms of if you want to, in terms of how many people who work as a fisherman, farmer, or both, right? So you can see here, actually, this 35 is are the people, right? The people that work only as a fisherman, right? This guy, this 35, fisherman A. This 50 work both as fisherman and farmer. This 25 works only as a farmer, right? Okay. Okay, so let's go back to the first sentence that we have from the question. There are 200 people in the village, right? In here, let's say this rectangle is the village, right? We should have 200 people. But the question is, are there 200 people now if I add these numbers? I don't think so. Okay, let's add them up, right? 35 plus 50 plus 25. This will be 85, right? 85 plus 25 is 100, and I believe is 110, right? Wow, but we should have 200, right? But we only have 110. So where's the others, right? So the others would means that we have another 90 people, right? Another 90 people, because 110 plus 90 is equals to 20. 200, sorry. So that 90 will be over here, guys. Okay. Okay, so let's go back again to the next sentence. All adult male work as fisherman. So which means that the numbers that is inside these two circles are the male adult male, sorry, yeah, because all of them work as a fisherman, all of them, and not a single of them that is not working as a fisherman or farmer, right? So these three numbers represent all the adult male. So if we answer question 1, how many adult male are there? So you only need to add all of these, right? So it'll be 3 35 plus 50 plus 25, in which actually we have calculated that before, which is in here, right? That will be 110. So that will be just 35, sorry. Okay, okay. So that will be 35 plus 50 plus 25. That will be equals to 110 people. Next, how many villagers are women and children? Again, so which means that if we can actually see here the third sentence, while woman and children stays at home doing daily chores. So the woman and children, right, they do not include, doesn't include into the fisherman farmer. So that will be they will be outside the circle but still in the village, right? So that the village, the woman and the children represented by this 90, right? So that will be just 90, because how 200 minus 110 equals to 90. So 90 people are women and children in the village.